Bare and Complete with Lauren Fairchild. 100% acceptance and empowerment for women. Welcome to this episode of Bare and Complete, where we're going to be talking about a very powerful topic. I'm Lauren Fairchild, and I'm excited to be diving deep into the topic today around loyalty. So before we dive into it, I just want to ask you now, who are you loyal to? So for me, when I'm asked that question, the obvious thing that comes up immediately is all of the people in my life: my husband, my child, my family, my best friend, my other close friends, and even old companies that I used to work for come up in that loyalty list. But what is missing from that list is myself. Not once did I think, oh, I'm loyal to myself when posed that question. And the reason that we often forget ourselves off the top of that list or even anywhere on that list of loyalty is because we haven't really been taught to be loyal to ourselves and what that actually looks like. So, in connection to acceptance and empowerment as a woman, self-loyalty is up there as one of the most transformational things that you can do. And the reason why it is so powerful is because it really allows you to further this connection and relationship that you have with yourself, this trust that you have with yourself. If you think about what loyalty gives you in a friendship, if you're loyal to a friend and they're loyal to you, immediately you feel supported, immediately you feel secure and safe. And you also have a trust and a bond with that person who you're loyal with. And it's a really beautiful part of being a human to have that connection with someone and be loyal to them. So imagine when you bring that same relationship of loyalty in with the relationship that you have with yourself. Now, some of the reasons we get stuck on this as a society and especially as a woman is because there's this conditioning that it's kind of been drilled upon us throughout our life, that if we do focus on ourselves and have self-loyalty, there's this notion that we're a bad girl, that we're selfish, that we're just doing things for ourselves, which makes us reject or take away from others. But that's actually not the case. You can be loyal to every person that you had on your list and be loyal to yourself as well. You just can add yourself to that list. You don't have to choose between being loyal to yourself and being loyal to other people in your life. There's enough loyalty to go around. And that's actually a beautiful thing. You don't have to choose. But it is the analogy that I'm going to give around that safety recording when you're on an airplane and they say, if the oxygen mask comes down on the airplane, put your own mask on first before helping others. And the reason that's so important, and they have to say that in the safety video, is because if you don't put your oxygen mask on first, you're going to pass out. And then you can't actually help anyone. So it's the same with this sense of loyalty. You can be loyal to others and still keep that loyalty going. But you can also be loyal to yourself. And what that means is putting on your own mask first. Because what that means in a day-to-day is making sure that you are prioritizing your own needs, making sure that your needs are met. And this is potentially where the selfish side comes into it. We think that we have to help others or put others before ourselves. But that isn't the case. You're not being selfish just because you're meeting your needs that you need to meet on a certain day before then helping others. You need to prioritize yourself first, because otherwise what happens is you end up doing things for other people and ignoring your own needs. And then you don't necessarily pass out like you would on the plane without the oxygen mask, but it can result in health and energy issues. You can burn out from doing that because you're not meeting your own needs that need to be met. You're not prioritizing yourself. And there's nothing selfish about prioritizing your own needs. You can still be loyal to others and meet their needs, but it's also just having an awareness of your own needs too and balancing that out. If you're coming from a place of being fulfilled and meeting your own needs so that you actually don't need your needs met by external things, then you're going to be way more self sufficient and way more energetic and be coming from a place of abundance that your overflow to be of service to others is going to be paramountly different, significantly higher than if you're not meeting your own needs. If you're not meeting your own needs, you are relying on those needs being met by other things, external things. And if they're not being met by external things, that's when you can fall in a heap. Your needs need to be met, whether you're doing them yourself, which you absolutely can, or if you're trying to get them done by external. If you're trying to get your needs met externally, it's a lot harder. It takes a lot more energy than if you were just to be self sufficient, meet your needs yourself, and then still be able to be loyal to everybody else. So I hope that makes sense in the notion that the more you are going to be focusing on yourself, meeting your own needs, you're actually going to be having more energy and more abundance that then you can overflow to others. So self loyalty isn't about being selfish and just putting yourself first. It's actually coming from this place of health and energy and prioritizing your own human needs that you have to then be able to be more of service and be more helpful to others as well. And it's really important to remember you don't have to choose to be just loyal to yourself and then loyal to others. You can be loyal to others and yourself at the same time. So it's a really beautiful thing. But reconnecting to this sense of your own needs and realizing that you can meet your own needs is so transformational. And there's a lot of different needs that we need throughout the day, and every day is going to be different. So these are things like self-care or having your own desires and understanding what you want in the day. But really, if we're cutting to the core of what our human needs are, we have the human need for love, we have the human need for significance, we have the human need for certainty, and certainty meaning that we know what's going on in our life. We know that we have safety and security within your house, within your life, within the people within your life as well, and with yourself. Then there's a human need of uncertainty as well. So ironic that certainty and uncertainty are both human needs, but the uncertainty part is where if we literally knew everything that was going to happen every single second for the rest of our lives, as a human being, we would find that really mundane and we really couldn't handle that. We need some spice of life. The other human needs are growth and contribution. So growth is around your personal growth, how as humans we're always growing and developing, and contribution is actually helping others and being of service to others. So again, in your human needs, it's not about being selfish, because part of it is also about your contribution that you give to the people around you. So these 6 human needs are the main human needs that we all have as humans. And if you're not meeting these needs yourself, then you are looking to meet these needs externally, because these needs need to be met one way or the other. So when we are not meeting our needs ourselves and not being loyal to our own needs and making sure we're, putting on our own oxygen mask first, we end up being left with needing to meet these needs externally through other people or through other things in our life. So it just becomes a messy cycle. When you can pause and actually give yourself all the love that you need through self-love, and give yourself the self-validation that you need around your significance and how significant you are in the world, to give yourself the certainty of security and safety in your own life, and to also give yourself the ability to have uncertainty in your life and know that, life is an adventure. Things are going to come up. It's not always going to be certain of what your day is going to look like, and be open and willing to that, and understand that you're safe within the uncertainty and diversity that life has to offer as well, and be open to the adventure of life. You can give that to yourself. Around growth, you can really give growth to yourself. In fact, you're the only person that can really drive your own personal growth. And this is through multiple different ways. And then you're the one who can give yourself the validation of the contribution that you give to others and how that is for you. So when you self-validate all of your 6 human needs on your own and give yourself that loyalty to do that as a priority for yourself, you then have an abundance to flow to everybody else around you. And all those people who you already had mentioned or thought of at the start of this episode of who you're loyal to, you will have profound shifts in those relationships too, because you're going to be not needing them to be filling or meeting your needs either. So there's this real wholeness that you then have. You're separating yourself from any dysfunction that you may have where you're using the people in your life, which we all do, to meet our needs, because you're meeting them yourself. You're loyal to yourself and you're meeting those needs yourself. And it's a really beautiful exercise to get into, and also a habit. When you start doing this for yourself and meeting your own needs internally, your empowerment and acceptance honestly goes off the charts. And when we are living from a place of acceptance and empowerment, that is when we can shine bright. That is when we can really make a difference in our own world, and also in the relationships that we have with others as well. So it's not a matter of being selfish through self-loyalty. It's just this really beautiful connection of nurturing the relationship that you have with yourself and being able to be whole and complete, because you're giving yourself the loyalty that you need, the trust, the security, the safety, everything we mentioned that loyalty gives you when you have it with someone else. To have it with yourself is profound. And I would love to hear how you, after this episode, nourish your own relationship with yourself and really focus on self-loyalty. Really focus on the relationship that you have with yourself, and specifically how you can validate your own needs, your own human needs around love, significance, certainty, uncertainty, growth, and contribution. Because even just focusing on those 6 things and self-validating those for yourself, giving those to yourself, you're going to feel like a different person. You're going to have an abundance of energy. And self-loyalty is such a beautiful thing. So I would love for you to share in the comments of this episode of how this translates for you over the week. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of Bare and Complete, where we have really talked about the importance of self-loyalty. I look forward to hearing how it has translated for you in your own life. Subscribe to the channel now. Bare and Complete with Lauren Fairchild. 100% acceptance and empowerment for women.